Talk about Bigfoot? We can talk about
Fuck no, I
Bigfoot.
don't want to talk about Bigfoot.
Then why the fuck are you complaining for?
Uh, I'm just kidding. We could talk about Bigfoot. I like Bigfoot. He's cool.
Um, something, uh, something is what's going on here? Twitch. Oh, Twitch. All right, there we go. All right, Twitch is up. Ooh, we got another follower. Cool. Well, we will definitely have the opportunity to talk about Bigfoot soon. So I'm not gonna force the Bigfoot issue tonight, but we're definitely gonna have the opportunity to fairly soon. Actually, we got some really cool shit coming up. We're gonna talk about that even sooner, like very sooner. Um, but yeah, I mean, basically, we'll start off with just giving a recap of UFO days, all the shit that you missed, right? Because you weren't there, because you don't love us, and you don't love Elmwood.
No, you don't love me. You didn't hold up to your end of the bargain.
Oh,
I
whoa, whoa,
can't
whoa!
believe that you just
Actually,
loved me more and didn't want to leave me this year
that's
because I couldn't go.
ooh.
That.
Oh yeah, you could just tell the truth.
Because
You
it's
could.
it's defeating my argument where I told him that he had to come down here in order for me to go up there again.
He did say that last year. I
He
remember when
did.
you
He
couldn't go.
did. He did. He did. He did. Uh, but so we talked with my dad. My dad was here this weekend, and he lives down in St. Petersburg. So it's on the books. Well, it's in the plans. It's not on the books yet, but it's in the
Did he
plans.
did he bring the milk?
No,
Oh,
no. Is that like a lost father joke? Is that what that's
yeah,
supposed to be?
dad left
Like
to get the
when
milk
when
and
I went out,
never
got
came back.
smokes, never came
Yeah.
back. Took off in his Camaro. Yeah. No. But I got Kid's here. She's upstairs right now, hanging out with the wife. I don't.
Come in and say hi.
Yeah, why isn't she on the episode? What the
Well, I don't really have room right here. I mean, she's more than welcome to come down, but I offered her to come down. There's just no room back here. There's nothing back here. The studio's changed just slightly since you've been here last.
You've changed.
You've changed, but she is here. We went and got tattoos today. Her, Skeeter, myself, my wife, we all got tattoos.
What'd you
My
get?
wife got a I got this this binary star system for to represent my family. I got me and my wife and then my 4 kids, the planets.
Shill.
Super cute. No, it's fucking adorable. Not showy at all.
Space shill.
See, there she is. Kenzar saying hi live from Menominee, Wisconsin. Yeah. And then let's see. UFO days was fun, man. I mean, I was an anxious wreck just like I was last year. Probably more so this year though, because I had to do 5 bus tours, an hour and a half each, all on Saturday. So I had the presentation, same presentation I gave last year. I did it at 9:30 in the morning. Kids got some footage from it, so we're gonna upload footage this time. We actually took videos. And then I did the bus tour, which Tom was doing last year, but he didn't do it this year. Um,
Did you play my sweet video?
yeah, yep, we played it in the background.
Hell
We
yeah.
offered we offered to play it after the presentation, and nobody stayed for it, so nobody got to see it. But with that being said, Jeff had officially announced that he is going to finish that project and do the other 2 episodes so that we can get that out to everybody to enjoy.
I don't remember.
When did that happen?
That didn't happen.
I feel like that's happened.
That
I
didn't
feel
happen.
like I feel like Jeff was like, you know what? I'm gonna finish something, and it's gonna
Well,
be
Unfortunately,
that
I
documentary.
didn't renew the subscription because they upped the price on that video software. So
Always with the excuses, man. Always.
it's expensive, bro. They had like it was like $100 a year, and then they upped it to like $330 a year. I was like, I'm not doing that.
bro.
That was kind of insane.
Bro. We'll talk later. But we ran into all of our old friends. We ran into Tom, had some fun talks with Tom. Tom gave me a free cheeseburger. Get this. It was a cheeseburger with curds inside the patty. Bro. Delicious. It was amazing. And then of course, Amy and drill sergeant Dawn was there. And yeah, she was yelling at people. It was awesome. It's great.
She didn't yell at me.
No, she didn't yell at me either, but I definitely got to see her yell at people again, which was awesome.
Yeah, you
Some
guys
lady-
video called me while I was driving down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. You were lame. Super lame.
I was driving down the road.
I feel like your sister would beg to differ. about me
Well,
really not driving back from.
No, we were driving back from Wawa.
ooh, Wawa. I haven't had Wawa in a while.
Yeah, we were getting root beer and Slurpees.
Nice. Well, you ready to jump into what we got for today?
Sure.
Yeah, you are, man. Yeah, you are. Before we get into like the real good stuff, the teasers for Sunday, I'm going to say this multiple times today just because I want to make sure that everyone that comes in the live stream can hear it. But if there's one episode that you watched live of Infinite Rabbit Hole, make sure that you are here Sunday, August 3rd, 8 p.m. Central Time. It is most likely going to be the first of a series of episodes. That's all I'm going to say for now. We'll jump back into some more teasers in a little bit, but for now, that's all I'm going to put out. Jeff, would you agree? Should they show up for Sunday's episode?
Yeah.
This is one of the few things that I think Jeff and I have ever agreed upon.
Oh, yeah, it is. My mom's birthday dinner is Sunday.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. You can be able to make it?
Probably.
All right.
Yeah, we're not going to do dinner that late. Nah, I should be there. Should be fine.
All right. Let me know. Let me know if I need to reschedule.
I might have
but
the itis from eating, but
that's
I'll be
fine.
there.
You always have the itis.
That's true.
Crystal gives you the itis in the middle of every episode.
Whoa, calm down, brother. It's not that kind of show.
It's pretty much that kind of show. But anyways. All right. Wow. You what have you heard about this mysterious object out in space coming to planet Earth?
Oumuamua 2.
31 Atlas, sir.
It's Oumuamua 2. 2.0.
31 Atlas.
Okay. Are you familiar with Oumuamua?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. It's the same shit. Quote unquote interstellar object coming.
Quote unquote. Yeah.
Right.
What do you think Oumuamua was? Do you think Oumuamua was just a rock? I mean, even though it passed by Earth, right? We got to look at it for a little while. There was a point where we thought Oumuamua could have been something other than an interplanetary object, like a rock.
It's hard to say, man. You know, because I don't really believe in space in the conventional sense of space. So it's hard to like put my thoughts on these things into words that don't fit into the lexicon of space, right? There's not really words to define what I really feel like it is, but I mean, sure, are there objects that are flying by us? I guess, I actually heard something interesting, about like the pole shifts that are happening right now. Like we're in the middle of these pole shifts and all that,
Supposedly, yeah.
supposedly, right? Well, I was watching this video. I don't remember who it was, some astrophysicist or something. And he was basically saying that we're like crossing through this electromagnetic boundary through space, through the galaxy or whatever, right? And once we get through like a certain point, we pass the threshold, like all of the electrons polarities invert, right? It's like an inversion of electron polarity. So when I hear that, and then I hear like all these stories about these interstellar objects flying by, what that makes me feel like is we're probably going to get into. See, you didn't watch the video. You didn't watch the damn video that I sent you. So this isn't going to make any sense to you. But
Yeah, you're right. I did not.
I don't know how to explain this. Sure, yeah, they're probably shit flying by us. Yeah. Let's just put it to you that way.
Well, with the technology that we have now, being able to identify these things from a distance, there's only been 3 of these objects, right? We're on our 3rd one now. Oumuamua, I can't remember what the first one was called, but Oumuamua was different because it was elongated, skinny, right? And it just didn't have a typical shape of what we would imagine an asteroid, comet, meteor to have. One of these interstellar bodies. So it also wasn't doing or it didn't have the corona around it, the dust corona that is typically found. Usually it's dust and ice around these astral bodies that are held in a gravitational grasp, if you will, right? Around this, Oumuamua didn't have that. Oumuamua didn't have a lot of different things. So that's where the whole idea of it potentially being something different, something new, something possibly extraterrestrial, something extraterrestrial made, such as like a spacecraft or whatnot, came from. Eventually, it just passed by, right? And we actually only had minimal amount of time to watch it because we actually noticed it a little too late. The Atlas is the first one where we're noticing when it's way the fuck out there. It's way out there. So Avi Loeb is an astronomer who is conducting his research into the skies right now out of Harvard, and he is oh look, I just got I got a guest. You want to come say hi? Come say hi.
Say hi.
All right.
Come say hi. It's not who you think it is.
Hello.
Hello.
What up? Look at this fucking guy.
He said, "Look at this fucking guy."
Yeah, I bet he did.
It's Jake. He's here.
Kenzar wanted to do this too, but I'm more, I guess, braver than she is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Learn to be brave.
Bye.
Bye. Shit. Where was I?
You were talking about how Oumuamua is different than it didn't have the corona. You're talking about Avi Loeb from Harvard.
Oh yeah. So Avi Loeb is the guy who's been really projecting the idea that this 31 Atlas, this new astral body that's coming into our solar system, or technically is in our solar system right now, could potentially be an extraterrestrial craft. And there's been a lot of tie-in with something that we just recently talked about, which would have been the Fermi paradox, and one of the answers to the Fermi paradox being the dark forest theory. Basically what's been going on is that there's been a ton of articles coming out, and I mean a ton of them. You can go to any major news network and find an article on this, but then you can also see any newspaper, magazine. Newsweek did one. That's, I believe that's the website that I shared on the Facebook page, where they're talking about this as a possible alien invasion coming here in November of this year. Now, I just want to pump the brakes here, right? Because I also, as soon as I heard this, which I heard it over the weekend while I was at UFO Days, I was like, hold up. We were warned about this. And I sent you guys the video. Did you watch the video I sent in the chat, Jeff?
No.
No. Well, I'm gonna
Is
bring
that
it
the
up.
Jeremy Corbell video?
Yeah,
I watched like 30 seconds of it.
but you know, have you seen that before?
I'm pretty sure. I don't trust Jeremy Corbell, man. I've talked about this before. So
But I mean, how likely is it that he's going to tell you this in January? And he says by the end of the year that we're going to have a situation where the government is telling us, or science is telling us, that we're going to be visited by a fucking
it's
alien spacecraft.
extremely likely. In fact, it's highly probable, I would say.
Yeah, but he's warning us. He's like, hey, just so you know, this bullshit that they're. I'm about to play it for everybody, right? We can hear it come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like Homeboy is trying to warn us.
I feel like Homeboy is a fucking plant, dude, and he's doing nothing but propagating the idea of an alien invasion, right? And
Now,
like
Jeremy Corbell, right? He is, I don't know, man. He's a controversial figure right now, right? Because shill, right? You would say shill defined.
shill's a decent definition, sure.
I mean,
I'd say more
that's-
like agent of chaos, but yeah.
So you think he's more like a planted?
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been saying this since before you and I before I was even on this show, right? I've been talking about Project Bluebeam. I've been talking about the next big global threat being extraterrestrial, Project Bluebeam, right? The idea that, you know, the next communism or the next virus or the next terrorism is going to be a threat from outer space. And then you have all of, and it's just, you know, when you say like, what are the chances that he says this in January and then it happens? What are the chances that they've been saying this is going to happen for like the last 10 years? And all of a sudden, just in the last like 2-3 years, all of it is starting to coalesce into this, like, you know, this weird version of like, hey, man, aliens are on the way.
I mean, I think it's likely that he says it, right? And that it happens. But I don't know, man. That it's I don't know. It feels like he was legitimately trying to early warn us about this, because he's not portraying like, hey, you know, if this ever happens, we should just accept it. He's actively telling you that we're going to be fed bullshit.
Of course, man. That's part of it, man. Like part of the Hegelian dialectic is that, right? You have to have some of your shills have to play the other side of the fence. You've got to have guys who are like out here, you know, portraying themselves as like the good guy, right? To give us the heads up or to warn us that they're going to try to trick us into this thing, right? It's like the escaping the karmic cycle idea. They have to tell you what they're doing somehow. And I think Jeremy Corbell is one of, sorry, the cat just went crazy. I
Mhm.
think Jeremy Corbell is one of those agents of chaos. I think he's literally telling the people what the plan is, and it seeds, you know, it's like planting the seed in your subconscious mind, right? Because there's a lot of people like you or other people who are like into these fringe topics who will look at Jeremy Corbell and think what you're thinking, and they'll be like, "Oh, look, man, he's not one of the shills, bro. He's warning us. He's saying that they're going to use this to trick us or something like that." And it's like, well, yeah, they are. Duh. You know? That's
Yeah.
just how I feel about it. Like you know, for all of recorded history, at least in the modern time, right? Like a couple hundred years, right? There's been no real threat of extraterrestrials coming or anything like this, right? Like, sure, we could go back and look at, cave paintings and tablets and shit from like 10,000 years ago. And we can like speculate, hey, was that like extraterrestrial visitors and stuff like that? But everything, in the last couple hundred years, um, that hasn't happened. And it just so happens that as soon as we have the technology, apparently, to look out for these things, and like as soon as we get to a point where like everything's about to switch to like a digital new world order and like UBI and central bank digital currencies and like the internet of things and all this stuff, like as soon as we're at that point, just in this real like tiny little fragment of time that civilization has existed, all of a sudden the aliens are coming.
See, I think that I definitely see what you're talking about, right? But I think personally, I think it's all bullshit. I don't think that aliens are coming at all, right? That I don't think is the fact. I think that this is gonna blow over and it's gonna be another Oumuamua, right? It's just a weird object in the sky. If you I hate to say that Avi Loeb is portraying some sort of fear, projecting some sort of fear into the public with this on purpose.
Why not?
Well, well, okay, so I'm a little biased here, right? I respect Avi Loeb. I do. I like Avi Loeb. I followed him for years, right? I would hope that he's not doing this on purpose, that he's not trying to put it out there as a scare factor, or that he's trying to maybe sell a fucking book or get more time on people's streams or major news stations for publicity purposes. But I can also see that being the case, right? Could he be a government plant as well, to just be the name that drops it because he's probably one of the world's best known astronomers at this point right now?
Sure, he's popular, he's charismatic, he's fun, he's interesting to listen to, right? All the
Super,
things,
yeah.
So, and that's perfect. That's the perfect type of person to do that, right?
Mhm.
And I don't necessarily think that he's trying to sow the fear, right? I think that what you need people in authority like Avi to make it like to normalize the idea of these types of things. Later will come the fear, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think. Same with Dr. Greer. I feel like Stephen Greer is kind of the same way, right? They sprinkle some truths in there, free energy technologies, like, oh, we got to like free humanity from the enslavement of the deep state, like these types of ideas, which gets people like me and you to be like, yeah, man, like he's on our team, bro, and he's talking about this stuff. How amazing is that? Holding these congressional events with all these whistleblowers and stuff. But that's an authoritative figure with some credibility, with witnesses and testimony from other people who have credibility, quote unquote, right? And it's prepping us. It's just psychologically prepping us for this idea that, hey, man, like there's extraterrestrials. They're either here, they've been here, they're on the way here, whatever it is. It's, again, so that when the day comes, when they pull the trigger, and they say, hey, look, by the way, these extraterrestrials are actually a threat. We have to do all the things that I've talked about in Project Bluebeam, right? Stripping away privacy and rights and all these things just so that they can do it in the name of public safety, right?
Fuck, man. I really hope Avi Loeb's not going down that path.
Maybe he's not, and I don't even think all of them are. We've talked about this before when it comes to just like science in general, right? Like there is certain things that happen in the academic field right? Where they deal with the same thing that we're dealing with, right? So Avi might just be a victim to this as well, right? He's got his other peers who he respects, who are in positions of authority, right? And that have, accountability behind them because they discovered something or solved a math problem or whatever the case is, right? So when he sits down around the table with them and they have these long, deep discussions, right? They kind of convince him like, hey, this is the case, right? Along with his own research. And, he's there for it. The problem is, man, is that right now with the internet and the way everything's been going for the last like 15, 20 years, especially with the internet, there are millions and millions, probably billions of people who want this to be true, right? Like people like you, look at the poster behind you. I want to believe, right? Like that's a thing. I feel that way half the time, right? Where it's like I want this to be true. I want to see the Galactic Federation of Light show up and change the world or whatever the case might be. But that's the point, right? They know that there's a huge number of people who want this to be the case, and it makes it that much easier for them to like use that as a propaganda tool.
All right. I do want to believe. I do want to believe. I do not at all like the idea of an alien civilization or race coming to Earth from another planet. At all. That's not going to be good for us.
It would be terrifying.
It would be
But-
very bad for us.
Put yourself in Jeremy's shoes like 10 years ago. Did you have the same sentiment?
Yes.
Did you?
Yeah. I've always been in the camp where I've kind of always knew that if we were ever visited by an extraterrestrial race from outside of this planet, from outside in the universe, right? Another home planet or even a wandering species, that it would be the end of the human species. Easy. I don't even think it would be difficult for them to do, even with our current weapons and our technology that we have now. I don't think it would be difficult for them to wipe us completely out. I've always kind of been in the court of hoping and more or less believing that the typical UFOs that we see in the sky, like this up here, is more or less something that's already here or something interdimensional. I think although an interdimensional species could pose just as much risk as an interstellar species would, I think that if we were to come across an interdimensional species, the chance of it being non-hostile, completely non-hostile, is much higher than it is if they're interstellar. If they're interstellar, you'd have to think that there's not many reasons why they would be interstellar in the first place. Okay. And none of those reasons are really good for the planet that they end up getting to, which would be us, right? So trying to find a new home because your home got destroyed, that's not good for us. Needing resources, that's not good for us. Scientific experiments, that's not good for us. I mean, even exploration, just exploring, isn't good for us. I mean, look what Europe did when they came over to North America. It's not good, right? Bad shit happens, well, at least when humans explore, right? I am kind of guilty of looking through this through a human scope.
Well, you
So
have to. There's no other
right.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can see things. So, But if you're talking about interdimensional, I feel like that's more on the trying to solve and understand the universe, right? Trying to understand physics, trying to understand everything. And it's more of like a science experiment than anything. Like, let's make contact with the other side. I don't think that you send physical bodies, a physical ship across the universe, you know, a ton of light years away. You know, Alpha Centauri is 4.3, right? That's still a long fucking distance. I mean, this 31 Atlas isn't moving fucking light speed, but wherever it came from, it's traveled a long fucking distance, and it's been traveling for a long fucking time. You don't do that just because you're going to test the bounds of science, right? Now, you very well could simply test technology to see what you can do to access another dimension, another plane of existence in your same physical space. I feel like if that was the case, we would have a better chance at coming across a non-hostile species. And if 31 Atlas ends up being a mothership of some sorts or anything made by an extraterrestrial, right? I think we're fucked. Like fucked. Unless it's literally just like a Voyager probe kind of situation where they sent like a disc out with, you know, some hieroglyphs on it for communication purposes. That would be the only case, but this thing's fucking huge. Like a Muamua was already fucking gigantic. This thing's easily, I've been seeing numbers like 12, 15 times bigger than a Muamua. Like, this is no small object. Anyways, I'm going to play a little bit of this Jeremy Corbell video. I think I'm only going to play maybe like the first 15 to 30 seconds of it, just so we can get an idea of what he was saying, because he comes out with that thesis statement like really quick, that grab your attention.
Start up.
But this is his likeness, so I'm not going to play the whole thing. Let's see.
But the lie is coming. All indications, like all of them, is that that lie is going to be that there is a craft slowly making its way to us here on Earth. And that is the lie they're going to want you to believe. It's nuanced, how they explain that, the nature of that threat. But that 100% is the lie you are going to be told. You even got a date. People have been whispering a date for a long time now. I know where that lie comes from.
So, I mean, again, that's his property. I'm not going to show the whole thing.
That's
You can
exactly
easily
what I've
find
been
those.
saying. He's saying what I'm saying. The only difference is that he believes in space in a way that I don't believe in space. He believes in craft, extraterrestrial craft, that I don't believe, right? So he has a different like lens that he's talking about this from. That's kind of my point, right? Like, we're both saying the same thing. They're going to use something like this as the big lie, right? This is the Black Swan event that pushes us into the new era, right? Into the new world, the new world order. Okay.
But you're saying that he's being used as a tool.
I'm saying he's probably being used as a tool, or maybe he is a tool knowingly. I don't know. It's that I can speculate on that all day long, but like, you know, because he's already broken these stories of these craft that have been declassified, and even the Pentagon knows it, and even these pilots know it, and even you know, so he's like he's hitting it from that angle of like, yeah, man, space is infinitely large and there's things out there that they don't tell us about, and those things are coming here. That's the disconnect that I have. You know, I don't believe that's the case. That's why I've been saying space is fake and gay for the longest time, because I think that the lie is coming, but the foundation of the lie goes all the way back to the beginning of when we started learning about quote unquote space,
Mm-hmm.
right? His is starting from when, like, you know, he started investigating the craft coming from this so-called space and these technologies that are coming from so-called space, and these, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference.
Right. I don't know, man. I I don't I don't know. I think that it's very interesting that he came out with this shit in January or February. I can't remember. It's one of the two. And it's now it's actually being portrayed in mainstream media. I understand what you're saying, but I also, like, I don't know, man. I know that you're also not going to be surprised if this is the narrative, right? If this is the narrative that we're going to see on news stations for the next, shoot, possibly even couple of years, um, or at least throughout the next couple of weeks, right? Until, you know, someone determines that it's not a threat. Um, you know, I don't know, man. I think it's what is it going to look like? Like, what is it going to look like? I guess my question is, what is it going to look like if or when a true whistleblower comes out, like someone that's good, right? Someone that is legitimately trying to warn the public, and they have this information, it got leaked to them by some means. What is it going to look like? How are we going to know that that person is not trying to fuck us over, trying to get us to go along with it?
We won't know. That's the it's the same archetype that's been played over and over again in history, right? I mean, like, you can even look at this in like a religious context, right? Like, nobody believed Jesus was the son of God, right?
Mhm.
You know, whether you believe that he is or isn't at this point in time, like, just put yourself 2000 years ago, right? You were living in the Middle East 2000 years ago. Like, nobody believed that this dude was saying, or that this dude was who he was saying he was, right? And then after the fact, after the new era began, right? The new, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean? Like, the
Yeah.
new cycle started, right? Like, that's when everybody started to like believe that he was telling the truth, and they have faith and all this thing. And I think that's the same thing that's happening now. It's the same archetype, right? So, like, even if aliens were actually coming, nobody's gonna believe it until it's after the fact. You see what I mean? So same
Mhm.
thing with, even if somebody whistleblower comes out and he's like, yes, I'm being 100% honest, and maybe he is, and he's like a white hat, and he's like, look, man, like nobody's gonna believe him. They're gonna ridicule him. I'll be one of them that ridicules him, right? It's just the way that it goes. And then till after the fact, then people will be like, he was right. You see? It's like the same archetype.
So, just to play devil's advocate, right? Because this is kind of the conundrum that I'm stuck in, right? I I have a ton of books from Avi Loeb. I like them, right? And I would not be surprised if he ends up being, you know, one of the bad guys that is used to portray the narrative that we're going to be attacked by some alien species. That basically kicks off Project Bluebeam, right? In the definition that we know it as. Um, but if he, I mean, let's say Jeremy Corbell ends up actually being right on this, and he's not. I mean, what kind of harm are we doing? I guess, right?
I mean, that goes back to what I was saying. Like, I think that his warning about them using this as this lie, this threat that's coming, like that warning is real. Like, that's true. I don't think he's lying about that. I credit him for him for saying that. Again, I just think that he's done more to propagate the idea that there are extraterrestrials.
Hmm.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, and he has done that.
Now if he had come out and was like, yeah, space is fake and gay, there's no extraterrestrials, they're gonna use this extraterrestrial threat, this lie, I'd be way more inclined to like believe and trust him. You see what I mean? Like, it's not that the threat he's saying isn't true, it's just it's another layer deeper than that, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Shit, dude. I don't know. Either way, if this ends up being true, right? If this is a fucking alien fucking spacecraft coming here from another planet somewhere far, far away, just like in Star Trek, um, there's not much we can do about it. There really isn't.
No, not much you can do. And even if there isn't, whether there is or there isn't, they just have to make us think that there is, or not even that they don't even have to make us think that there is. They just have to declare that there is. You see what I mean? So like there could be nothing happening up there. But when the governments of the world declare it is so, it is so. Because all the things, like you said, there's nothing we could do about it, right? So like when they start cracking down, when they start doing all this shit because they declared that there's a threat from space, there might as well be a threat from space.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I personally think that just about everybody who propagates space information, right, is either just completely like brainwashed by the idea of space because it is fascinating, right? Or they're actually one of these agents. I always go back to like the start of the space agencies. The guys who started NASA, the guys who started the space agencies were literally Nazi scientists, Walt Disney, occultists that were part of Aleister Crowley's religion, Thelema,
Mm-hmm.
right? What's the guy from Scientology? His name? L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard. Yep.
Okay, so these are the people who started the whole concept of space as we know it and propagated all of the information and put up the money and lobbied the politicians and started NASA, which NASA, because of NASA, all the rest of the countries started their own space agencies, right? So when you really bring it back to those origins, it's really suspicious, right? So then I think to myself, like, is all of the stuff that followed that foundation just psyop?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? So like, and yeah, look, man, I don't know, right? There's days where I wake up and I ponder about space as well. I watch videos about how vast space is and how the Andromeda galaxy is going to collide with the Milky Way in like 4 billion years, and like it's super interesting stuff, right? I love space movies and games, and I'm just as consumed by the whole idea as everybody else. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, man, this is probably just all nothing but occultist Hollywood propaganda. All of it.
All right. We're gonna move past this.
Okay.
I just want to put another reminder out that, like I said, I'm gonna say this a couple times tonight. If there is one Infinite Rabbit Hole show that you want to watch live, it is going to be this Sunday, August 3rd. I've been teasing a bit of a bigger topic coming through. It's starting August 3rd. Okay. I got someone here to say hi.
Hi, everybody.
What
Kenzar
up?
exists.
Kenzar's a real person, not an NPC.
He said, "What up?"
Hi, Jeff. How do?
Tell her I thought she was an NPC until she showed up there.
He thought that you were an NPC until you showed up here.
Definitely not an NPC, bro.
Not an NPC, man.
Hey,
I exist.
there's no way to
Look.
know. No way to know.
I come from Canada. Did you show everybody your Bigfoot?
No, not yet.
Show everybody your Bigfoot.
Yeah, look, kid got me a big feats, and then look, she signed it.
She can't hear you because he has headphones on.
Oh, I do have headphones. Crystal said hi.
Oh, hi, Crystal.
She yelled hi.
Oh, I'm sure I'll hear that when I listen to this episode again.
Are you listening?
I have it on my phone. Yeah,
Oh, nice,
I got the Twitch going here. Yep.
neat.
Sick.
All right, we got to jump into. We're just gonna touch base on a few other things real quick, and then we'll start really teasing this Sunday. So, first one that we can just I just want to touch base on. Because I don't really have much to say about it other than just like a fair warning to everybody, like, hey, the Pacific Ring of Fire, that stuff we were talking about with the Rio Tatsuki stuff. Well, the stuff that's on the US side of the Pacific Ring of Fire is getting really active. All the way from Alaska down to California. And they're saying that some really ugly shit could potentially happen. So if you're on the West Coast, be safe.
That's probably
That's what I
from the
really gotta
pole
say.
shift that's happening, man. You know,
Maybe it might be. It might be, right? So that's definitely something that we could talk about, but I'm trying to keep this moving. I just wanted to touch that really quick because somebody had mentioned it. They're like, hey, you should, maybe put something out because that could really suck for some people at some point soon.
agreed. Yeah, I think that's definitely way more of an actual threat than aliens.
I actually agree. I feel bad that we're not going to spend more time on that. I don't really have much more to say. I mean, I can't really predict that shit, but just in case you're not, paying attention to the news and geological status of some of those fault lines, you may want to keep your ears open and listen to what's going on, because there's a lot of fucking activity right now.
Yeah,
and
if you're on the
some scary
West
shit.
Coast, you should probably halt your Bitcoin purchases and put that money into like survival equipment for a little while, just to be safe.
Yeah. Just wanted to touch base on that. Now, touch base on one other thing really quick too. I just want to get your bid on this. Now, I know you and Kramer kind of touched on this on your show for a minute, but all the flooding in the southern states. What is your real thoughts on this? Basically, actually, I want to narrow that down. Do you think that this could be weather warfare?
What?
All the flooding that has been going on over the past couple months.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't know if I'd call it weather warfare specifically, but geoengineering has been a thing for a long, long time, and they don't know what they're doing, dude.
Well, do you think that we're under attack, or do you think that it's legitimately the U.S.?
No, like the U.S. like there's a war, like another. That's why I was hesitant to say war, right? I don't think that like China, Russia, Iran, any of these other nation states are weaponizing the weather or doing geoengineering as a war tactic against the United States government. No.
Do you think it's just private companies fucking up?
I think some of it is that. I do think that they are utilizing geoengineering and weather modification as a weapon of war. But it's when I say they, I'm talking about, let's just call it the deep state because it's the
Mhm.
easiest way to put this. They are using that weapon against us people, right?
Yeah.
The whole climate change thing, carbon taxes, like the earth is warming up, it's causing all these things to happen. We got to crack down. Like they're using those weapons of war on us, the people.
Yeah. I want to go to the chat real quick. The Moore said flooding is more common than people think. I'm seconding that. It is actually way more common than people think. But I'm just specifically pointing to the difference that we're seeing in the size of the flooding in these areas. Flash flooding is a thing, right? But it doesn't typically come in the form of uh taking out millions of dollars of real estate, taking lives and whatnot, and then it doesn't also do it again and again and again, right? We usually get a few cases of it a year where it's pretty bad, but I don't know, man. I feel like it's just been bigger, badder, and more consistent lately. And I know, like, it started off last year in North Carolina, right? That was like the beginning of all of it when the hurricane came through.
It's not just the flooding too, man. It's the fires, right? It's
But yeah, but we get fires all the time, man. Like that's an every year thing.
listen, man, in my opinion, again, I think it's they attacking us, right? With all of these different tools for, and there's probably multiple reasons for it, right? But if you want to just get down to like one of the easiest ones to kind of explain and get your head around, it's the Agenda 2030 situation,
Mhm.
you
Well, the
know?
one that used to be Agenda 2021,
Correct,
and
right.
then 2025,
Right, exactly.
and then
So
2028,
it's to
2028 and a half.
it's to push people out of certain areas and force them into smart cities, 15-minute
Yeah.
smart cities, and then they turn around and they go back to those areas that were devastated, and then they, you know, uh, whatever they want. That's their land now to do what they want with it, right?
It
Whether
is
it's
kind of funny that all this shit happens near lithium. That's fucking stupid.
You know what some of the biggest issues that we are having or we're about to start having, dude, when you talk about robotics and AI, right?
Mhm.
It's in energy consumption and all these things that are like about to be real big problems for us, right? Um, those rare earth minerals are crucial. And most people don't know this, but we get all of that shit from China, right? And this isn't like China bad talk, but I'm just saying we are dependent on somebody else to get those rare earth minerals just to build the superconductors, to build the infrastructure to power the new internet of things, the new world order, right? This new world order is going to require those rare earth minerals in order to function the way that they want it to function. And we're reliant on somebody else to get that. And I truly believe that a lot of these floods and fires and shit are pushing people out of areas that they can go in there and mine those fucking rare earth minerals. They can
Mhm.
disregard, all of the protections or whatever the hell else you want to call it, so they can get in there and get that shit so that we're not so reliant on somebody else so that we can build the new world order.
Yeah, I want to touch on something that you said there. Land grabs, right? Now, it's we have something similar happening right now here in my hometown, Menominee, Wisconsin, right? I'm going to share this page with you real quick. This is local issues, but I'm not going to be surprised if this is something that literally is mirrored around the entire country. You know, uh, a data center is proposed to be built right here in Menominee, and it's for AI, right? Huge, 324 acres, man. Right? They're looking to rezone 324 acres, actually right by where I fucking live. It's right here. It's kind of stupid how close it is. But they want to build a fucking data center. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that they're looking to do with all this new land that they're making right over all these natural resources of lithium. It's absolutely insane. And if anybody's listening to this from Menominee, right? If I have any locals that listen to the show, highly recommend that you look into this, because this is awful. This was actually supposed to be talked about tonight at the commission sometime this evening. If I didn't have to record tonight, that's probably where I would be, because I don't want this shit to happen. But this is what AI is doing. Like, Jeff, you were just talking about technology, right? We're gonna, like, we funny air quotes, need the resources right now so that we can upkeep the technology that we're about to be utilizing in
Right.
AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need, air quotes again, more space, right? So I'm seeing it happen locally here. There was no natural disaster here for them to take this, to annex it from us. But this scares the crap out of me, because whatever this Balloonist LLC is that they want to buy all this shit up for a data center, what if our town goes in, votes this no, you can't do this.
What's the company called?
Balloonist.
Just like balloons, like Balloonist?
Yep, Balloon IST LLC. If we vote this out, we say, nah, you can't do this. Am I gonna be fucking struck with what's that inland hurricane called? A Derecho, right? I mean, are we gonna have some massive flooding around here? Am I gonna have to worry about my fucking home and my kids because we don't give up this big ass plot of land so they can put up fucking AI farms?
I mean, maybe. I don't think all of it has to happen via natural disasters and stuff. I mean, they do it all the time, without that, right? I mean, look at Bill Gates. He's buying up all the farmland. There's not necessarily natural disasters there for him to do that, That's just one of the many tools at their disposal,
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are places where they know, like, hey man, like there's no way we're getting that, so maybe we should just burn it down or flood it. We'll come in 5 years later and get the shit. So
I don't know, man. It makes me curious to see if any of these flooded out areas have had a vote like this or some sort of situation like this sometime in the past. What was there a push for some sort of data farm to be put into some of these areas that got voted out? Are they being forced to accept it? I don't know, man. It's just something that I think we should look into. Somebody should look into that. I'm sure somebody has. I just need to find, that Twitter page that did it, right? Anyways, did you find
I'm not
anything
finding anything on that company, man. The only Balloonist LLC I'm finding is literally creates custom balloon art for elegant photo backdrops and large installations.
Yep, that's not it. No.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll try to track down some more information for you.
Well, what I was going to try to find out is who is that really, because you got all these shell companies and then you come to find out like, oh, fucking BlackRock owns like 90% shares in such and such a company. And, it was really founded by some dickhead in the NSA, shit like that. That's what I was going for.
Well, I'll see what else I can find on them. I'm sure I can find something local. Um, you want to talk about Sunday
Yeah, we could talk about Sunday.
and give everybody big old teasers without actually saying what it is that we're doing. I mean, not that we can't now. But just out of respect, like the plan I had shared with our guest was that I'm going to start vaguely teasing it today, Monday, through all of our socials. And then progressively give out more details on the socials every day. So tomorrow, make it slightly more less vague, I guess. And then by Friday, I'm going to announce who the guest is. The thing I'm going to say though is that you want to be here. Okay. I can't say that it's going to be anybody whose name anybody's going to recognize as of right now. But that the person that we're having on has the potential of becoming a well-known name. A very well-known name. Would you agree, Jeff?
Yep.
Jeff and I have we've been talking with this guest for a little while now, and I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot of information. So bring your big brains. No smooth brains allowed. You're going to have a lot of creases in those brains.
Yeah, the more.
Yeah, the more
the more is going to want to be here for this one.
The more you're going to like this one, probably, or you might hate it. I don't know, but you'll at least find it interesting. I think.
I think the more we'll find it interesting. I think there's plenty of people in the chat that we typically have in the chat that's going to find this interesting. But I'm telling you, if there's anything that I've ever asked of anybody listening to the show, spread the word, man. This Sunday, this is gonna be a guest that you don't want to miss. This is gonna be a guest that nobody's really gonna want to miss this. I don't know how else to say it. He's not a celebrity. He's not famous yet. Super lucky that this opportunity came to us. But at the same time, I feel it's kind of appropriate to kind of segue into one last topic for the night, and that is and take this as like a major hint as to what this could potentially be, but at the same time, I don't think there's anything you can think of that's going to get you ready for this episode that's going to be here on Sunday. I want to talk about people coming up with technologies or ideas or inventions of some sort that would drastically change the way humanity runs or moves around, does whatever humanity does, lives day to day, and then they die mysteriously. We're literally watching one of these issues happening right now.
Maybe.
I mean, the guy's been missing for almost a month now. I think it was January or July 1st or 7th.
Guy was also living in his van, so he could be doing anything. He could just be out and about doing his own thing, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
we don't know. We don't know that he was killed. That's what I'm trying to say. We don't know.
Right. So, if you remember a while ago, we talked about this a long fucking time ago. This has had to be like 3 or 4 years ago now, where we talked about that guy who created the engine that ran off water from Buffalo, New York, and then he ends up being like shot in a mass shooting at like a grocery store or something, right? Isn't he like the first victim or something in
Yeah.
like a shooting? And this is just one example of somebody coming up with an extremely beneficial, probably non-taxable technology, and then they meet their demise. Right? This is 0 Point Energy. This is Tesla. This is, you know, the current one right now is this guy in Georgia who apparently created a successful way to convert plastics into gasoline. Like a legitimate fucking recycled gasoline, man.
Yeah, plastiline and plastidiezel.
Yeah. And apparently it fucking worked. And now he's missing. And that's fucking crazy. I have his name here. I had Kenzar look it up. His name is Julian Brown. And I'm just gonna read the article that Kenzar had taken a screenshot for me from. This is on, I don't even know what website this is. Looks like Times Now World. TimesNowNews.com. So Julian Brown, a young inventor from Metro Atlanta who is known for creating a machine that turns plastic into fuel, has reportedly gone missing. Brown, who developed a device called Plastiline, has not posted online since July 9th, sparking concern among his 1.3 million TikTok followers. Plastiline is a machine that uses microwave pyrolysis to convert plastic waste into gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel, as per Economic Times. Brown began working on the machine in high school and then spent 5 years developing it. In March of 2025, in a March of 2025 interview with Bold Journey, he said that he wanted help to solve the global, or he wanted to help to solve the global plastic crisis. Now, moving this over to another article, I don't have the website for this, but one Facebook user posted, quote, Julian Brown has reported been missing for more than 2 weeks after claiming to successfully convert plastic waste into gasoline fuel. Another user noted, quote, I thought he just wasn't popping up on my timeline, but he's been missing for 2 weeks. Now, he stopped posting on July 9th. So I originally had said July 1st, but it's July 9th. So that puts him, what, 19 days now missing?
He's
And
not missing. I have an update from 4 hours ago. Quote, I can confirm Julian is safe, but in the best interest of his security, I am not able to provide any more information. Nia Brown, Julian's mother. Unquote.
so he had apparently he had made a post asking for protection and for prayers. This was off another website that I read earlier today. That was the post on July 9th, was saying, hey, give me your protection and prayers. So somebody's coming after him, bro.
See, I don't know if somebody's coming after him because, you know, if you've got 1 point, he's got a big following, right? Now, I think that he probably figured out how to do it, right? I mean, I can't imagine it would be that hard. I mean, I'm not smart enough to figure it out, but
I think he's proven it already. I think that we've already kind of proven that he was successful at this.
yeah, and that's why I don't think he's actually in danger in the way that the internet is exploding about it. I think it's more likely that once his lab results came back and it showed that it worked, now of course he's probably paranoid, right? I'd be paranoid too. He probably got hit up by somebody, probably like an energy corporation or a government entity of some kind, and they probably made him sign an NDA, and in return to help him like actually push this into something more than just like a project in his backyard, right? And that's probably why he's not posting. That's probably why everybody thinks he's disappeared. You know, his mother's saying he's safe. She can't talk about it any further than that. So I would argue, you know what? He probably signed an NDA and he's not allowed to really talk about it right now.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I am completely shocked that that is what you came up with.
Well, there's a difference between him and like the guy who made the water engine. The guy who made the water engine didn't have 1.8 million TikTok followers, right? He was just some schmuck,
Yeah.
right? So it was easy to get rid of him. You know, when you talk about these high profile individuals, these social media influencers, these people who have like millions of people watching them every single day, you can't just off them, bro. It's too obvious. It's too on the nose. So the best thing to do is to pay them out, make them sign an NDA, right? Maybe even bring them into your organization to, like I said, help further the research along. But you know, you're not going to get the out in the open, just, you know, not that I don't think they would. I'm sure they would off somebody for this kind of thing. They've done it before, right?
Yeah.
They'll literally come get your ass for collecting rainwater, right? So they would do it. But you know, yeah, you got a big ass following like that, they're going to be a little more careful in today's day and age than they would back in the 80s, 90s, right? Early 2000s. Now it's a little harder to get away with that kind of stuff, and I think they know that.
Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up is that we need your help to get this word out. We need people there to watch this on Sunday. We need eyes on this.
Yeah, we need 1.8 million TikTok followers by Sunday so that we don't end up dead. Okay.
I know that kind of came off as a possibly sounding like a joke. But and I know we're not going to get anywhere near 1.8 million followers, but the more that we have watching it, the better. I'm just trying to give everybody an idea of the sort of level that they can expect on Sunday, right? Could this end up being a flop? Yes, but I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't think it is. I really don't. I've been digging and digging and digging and digging, and then it's not just because of the water engine thing and people getting shut up about certain technologies. I also want people to watch this because I can't poke holes in it. I want to see if anybody else can. Like really put this to the test.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a crazy thing, man. I can't wait until like it's out there so that we can actually talk about it like in depth, because this like weird like shadow conversation we're having about it, it's weird.
It is weird. It is weird. And I hate doing this, but we need to try to recruit, man. We need to get people to watch this. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to be doing all week. I'm going to be recruiting people to try to watch this episode on August 3rd, sorry. Which I think means that they'll come out the 11th. It'll be out on every other platform except for Twitch and all of our live streams. So that's another thing too. Like if you're like itching and you're like, shit, I just kind of really need to know what the fuck they're talking about. August 3rd is going to be your earliest time to be able to figure that out. If not, you got to wait till August 11th for the episode to actually drop. So I don't know, man. You got anything else that you'd like to put out on this?
Not really, man. Honestly, I could talk about it for a long time, but I don't want to like give. I want to give it away. I don't really know how to talk about it without giving it away.
I think it's I think if anybody takes anything away from this, I think like I tend to get excited about things, right? And Jeff will commonly act as like my my calm down man. Like, hey man, this isn't something to get so excited about because this is why, right? And I'll stop and I'll be like, all right, cool, yeah, you're probably right. But Jeff and I have talked about a lot about this, and I think we're aligned on this one. I think this is something that could be potentially different and big.
Earth shattering.
I was trying not to use a word like that, but yeah, I agree. I don't know how how else to really describe it. And I know that the vagueness is probably like driving people fucking crazy because I know it's driving me crazy too. But all I gotta say is that it's for a good reason. It's not. I'm not sitting here, trying to dangle, a prize in front of you guys and be an asshole about it. I'm actually like saying like, man, watch this episode. You're gonna want to watch this episode.
And bring your big brains. Like I said, it's
And bring your big brains.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot.
All right, Jeff, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here.
Yeah, man, I'm tired, bro.
I
gotta go to bed.
I hope to see everybody plus more in the chat on Sunday. I'm excited about this. I really am. If we end up only having 6 people in the chat, then it is what it is, right? But it's going to be a fucking extremely interesting conversation nonetheless. And it could be potentially the conversation that we're having for a while. I don't know how long this series is going to last. I would bet that it's going to last more than one episode. Could go 2, could go 3, could go 3 months. I don't know. But the first and the last episode of the series are going to be ones that you're definitely going to want to be a part of. And then everything in the middle, you're not going to want to miss that either because you're going to need to know like everything. If you show up on the last episode of the series and, we're showing you all this stuff and you're missing all the middle stuff, you're going to be lost, man. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah. And even if it turns out to be like not that serious now, I think it'll definitely be, it could be one of those things where like, how we look back on things that happened 100 years ago and we're like, wow, that was like, way ahead of its time. Like, holy shit. Like, at least that will happen. I think, we might be dead and gone by the time like the rest of the world wakes up to this thing and it becomes like, hopefully not. I would like to see it, happen in real time. But yeah, even if we finish the series and it turns out like just, every other episode, I think somebody in 50 or 100 years will pull it up and be like, holy shit,
We're going to blow someone or a lot of people are going to get their minds blown on Sunday and in most likely consecutive Sundays. Just depends on if you're there or not. And I hope you are. All right.
Yep.
Jeff, you got anything to put out?
No, it's bedtime, bro. I got to get up early.
All right. Well, everybody, that has been another episode of the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. Again, one last time, be here Sunday, August 3rd. I know that this episode is being released Monday, August 4th. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, sorry. I might release this a day early. I actually might release this on Sunday. It should probably
release it before then.
It's probably a good idea if I release it on Sunday.
You should just release it tomorrow.
No, I have another episode releasing tomorrow.
Is it as important?
Oh, wait, no, I don't. Today's Monday. It released yesterday. Maybe I will release it, but then we need to have something to release on Monday. Well, we'll talk about this later. But I think this episode should be released sooner rather than later. I think you're right. Just to kind of get people. Yeah. All right. All right. That's been another episode of the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. We'll see you in the next fork in the path of the Infinite Rabbit Hole. Bye, everybody.
Bye.